Hi everyone, welcome to Module 13. With this module, you'll be asked to develop a draft of your editorial related to water and to post your editorial to the discussion. So as you're creating a draft of your editorial, you'll see there are some instructions to help you develop your paragraphs. There is some explanation about creating a strong introduction, how to develop focused and strong body paragraphs, and how to create a conclusion paragraph. You'll also see resources about formatting your editorial in MLA format. In this area, there's also an optional editorial outline template, and so you don't need to turn in this outline. It is there as a resource for you, but I would encourage you to use it to help you organize your ideas. You'll notice that in the introduction of your editorial, I recommend that you include three different things. So the first is a hook or an attention grabber. This is where we consider beginning with a quote or a question about the issue in which we're describing. This is how we can grab the attention of our readers and encourage them to keep reading. Also, I would suggest that you include background information, and this is basic information to help your readers understand the issue and the people who are impacted. So this could just be a sentence, maybe up to 3 sentences, where you just provide an overview of the topic. And then I suggest you move into your thesis statement, which is your main idea. This should be 1 to 2 sentences in which you briefly state the issue and the solutions you will propose. Then we want to move into our body paragraphs. And I would suggest thinking about this kind of in 2 sections. In the first section, that's where we address the water issue. And so you should describe the issue, consider who, what, when, why, how, where, make sure you're fully addressing the issue so that you're educating your readers about it. It can also be helpful to include evidence from a source here. And so part of this assignment asks you to summarize, paraphrase, or quote information from a source about water. Anytime that you include a source information, you should explain it, right? Give explanation, explain what the material means and why it matters. If you have a complicated issue, this section might be more than 1 paragraph. And so it just kind of depends. If your issue is in several different communities, you might have separate paragraphs really discussing how this issue impacts different groups of people. Or this could just be 1 paragraph, if it's in 1 location in which you can kind of summarize what you learned about it, it can be 1 paragraph. So it's kind of up to your topic and how you think the ideas will be best conveyed to your reader. Then we move into the next section of the body, and this is where we discuss a solution or multiple solutions. And so in this section, I would encourage you to describe the solution in detail, include evidence from another source if you have some, and then explain, right? Explain your solution and that evidence you've included. You might also consider the opposition. And so this is a way that we can show that we are using critical thinking skills, where we consider who will disagree with our solution and why, and how we might respond to it. And so again, this section that goes over the solution could be 1 paragraph, or it could be multiple paragraphs, depending on how complex it is. And then we move into our conclusion paragraph, and this is where we summarize the points that we've made, we restate our main idea, and we end in an interesting way. And you'll see some explanation about that in the instructions in the conclusion area of drafting the editorial. And so this week, you're mainly just writing your editorial, creating a strong draft, that when you're ready, go ahead and post it to the discussion. But something to keep in mind is that as you summarize, quote, or paraphrase information, we want to make sure we avoid plagiarism. And so we'll talk more about this next week as we complete peer reviews, but these are just some ideas to help you think about integrating source material. And so, for instance, maybe I'm writing about recycling, right? And I find a resource from the World Economic Forum. This is a webpage, and this is the title of the source, Top 25 Recycling Facts and Statistics for 2022. And maybe I'm going to summarize this source as evidence in my editorial. I want to include what's called a signal phrase. That's where we let readers know that I'm going to describe information that comes elsewhere. So in the title of the piece, right, in Top 25 Recycling Facts and Statistics, the World Economic Forum explains, and then I would give my summary. So I'm signaling to readers that I am summarizing something else. And this is how I avoid plagiarism when I summarize. Or if I want to include a quotation, what I could do is use a signal phrase like, according to the World Economic Forum, or the World Economic Forum explains, and then include a quote, include quotation marks. And in this case, since this is a website, it does not have page numbers, so I don't need page numbers after this. Most of the sources that we're using as far as the water issues do not have page numbers, so you don't need to include a page number. If this was a book instead, we would have parentheses after and a page number. Our period would come at the end. But in this case, we just use our quotation marks. Or you could integrate a paraphrase. So you could choose a sentence or a short passage from one of the sources, and then again, include a signal phrase by giving credit. The World Economic Forum found that, and here I'm taking a sentence from this source and I'm writing it in my own way. It's this sentence that's here that I've quoted. So while approximately 2 million tons of plastic was recycled in 2021, this was just about 5% of the plastic trash that was produced that year. And so I've taken this quote and I've written it in my own way, and I give credit. You'll learn more about how to create what are called works cited pages or reference pages in future classes. So many of you will be taking English 1110. And in that class, most students write a research paper, and you'll learn a lot about how to format your reference page or your works cited page. For now, what you might do at the end, just to give credit, is type works cited, right? Center it in the center of the page, and then include the source that you have used. Make sure that you include the author or the creator of the source, the title of it, and the web link. If you use a source that we've used in our class, you'll easily be able to find this information in the modules. Or if you're using an alternate source from a website, just look for these things, right? Who created it? What is it called? Where can we find it? There are other things that we include in a works cited page, but again, you'll get practice with that in other courses. So I hope you enjoy writing your editorial. As you post it to the discussion here, you'll see that by Sunday this week, you're just asked to post it. And then next week, in week 14, that's when we'll complete peer reviews. You can get kind of a preview of what we'll be working on next week. I know this sometimes helps students think about their own writing. So you could read through these questions and think about your own writing and what you might change, but we'll focus on peer review next week. And of course, there's a module checklist to make sure you've completed the weekly tasks. And I'm here to answer questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and I'd be happy to help you. All right, have fun writing your editorial. Take care. Bye.